Have you ever told yourself that I can do things later, and the assignment, paper, project, you just put it off to the last weekend, the last day, or the last hour even? Like for me, I was totally gonna write this script for the Devo on Tuesday, but then I put it off and wrote it on Wednesday. For my education program, we have summer assignments that are due at the end of August, but I told myself I would do them back in June, but it's August now, and I think I've only done 2 of them out of like 4 assignments. So I procrastinate a lot, and I've done that a lot since elementary, and I don't know why we all procrastinate. There's probably some psychological explanation to explain procrastination. Like if I had to guess, it would have to do with like our brain wanting to avoid stress and anxiety. And so we put off things that cause us stress and anxiety off to later. And there's probably more explanations to procrastination, but all of them probably agree that procrastination is bad for us. I looked up a quote on procrastination, and this guy called Hobbes wrote, do not put your work off till tomorrow and the day after, for a sluggish worker does not fill his barn, nor one who puts off his work. Industry makes work go well, but a man who puts off work is always a hand's grips with ruin. Putting off work, we tell ourselves we can do it later. But I think in reality, we're telling ourselves a little lie. And the lie isn't that we'll do it later, and we won't. Because I think for the most part, when we have assignments, we usually get them done, even though if they're really last minute. I think the lie is that we'll feel more comfortable by putting off our own work. But let's look at this lie logically for a bit. So if my main goal is to put off work to be more comfortable, to feel less stress, then putting off work actually doesn't accomplish that. The time between now and when we'll do our work actually builds more stress and anxiety compared to the alternative situation in which if I were to do my work now, then it would be stressful only now and not later. So if we compare the 2 scenarios, then doing our work now would give us less stress and anxiety. But you're probably like me and relate to this Calvin and Hobbes cartoon. It's on screen right now. In the same sense, I think a lot of Christian teenagers put off fully committing to God. For most of us, we've grown up in the church, and over time it's something that's just become a part of us. But the beauty of faith is that it's a personal decision to fully commit to God and to commit to loving God and loving others. And people may have different reasons for not wanting to fully commit to God. It could be that you have reservations about certain part of God or Christianity. It could be that you don't want to follow God, but you don't want to tell your parents or somebody out of fear of disappointment. Maybe you don't know enough to make an informed decision. Maybe it could be that you want to see like what's out there first. It could be many things, but what we do know is that it'll be uncomfortable dealing with whatever it is preventing us from fully figuring out if we want to commit to God or not. Because like anything in life, committing to something requires a big part of us. And I think in a sense, God isn't unique in that way, in that he, like other things, like work, school, and other commitments that it requires a lot of us to commit to him. But making that decision now than later is better. And as it says in 1 Thessalonians 5:2, it says, "For you yourself are fully aware that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night." Who knows what tomorrow brings? But yes, I know with your youth comes with the blessing with taking your time to think about things. That's the purpose, one of the purposes of being a teenager, that you can think about what you want to do later and what you want to do when you grow up, and if you want to follow God or not. So this Devo is basically doing another thing that 1 Thessalonians 5:11 says later. And it says to encourage one another and build one build up one another just as you are doing. So I encourage you, to encourage you, I want you to know that you don't have to have it all figured out to follow God. God loves us however we are and tells us to come as we are, even if we have doubts and hang-ups. And finally, that you can choose to change your life today. We don't have to wait till we're adults or move out into a place to make life-changing decisions. You can make those decisions today. So no more procrastination.